Hello and welcome. Today we are going to be doing the October repurchase review. So this is a bit lengthy. If you're new here, what that means is we're going through all of the items I featured on my channel this month and whether I would repurchase them again, as well as any updates. And then at the end we have a top 5 for the month, which so many items this month, so it was pretty challenging. So we're going to go ahead and start off with the beginning of October, and we're taking a look at the Lancome and Valentino Holiday. So this is the Lancome Holiday Palette Celestial Rose, and I think this is a nice palette. I do like this. It's not a favorite of mine, but I think it's a nice palette. So I personally, I think panning something this large is going to be challenging for me. We've got a lot of neutral shades in here, and we do have some warmer shades mixed in here. A couple of the shades are kind of similar to each other, so it's not like a true win, and I would have preferred this to be a smaller palette overall. So I think the palette is okay. Would I buy it again? I would buy it again if I saw it on sale, but for full price, I'd probably pass because we have so many other great things that came out. However, I also picked up a few of the Lancome lipsticks or lip products for the holiday, and I absolutely love these. I think these are fantastic. The formulas are new to me. I hadn't really tried these before since they reformulated it, and I love them. So I definitely plan on picking up more of these in the future. We've got click packaging here, which I really like. This one here is shade 196 French Touch, which is a drama matte. And I believe these shades were repeat shades, so you can find them in the permanent line as well. And then we have 220 French Blush in their soft matte formula, the Intimatte. So I really love the formula, and I can't wait to check out some cooler tones in their permanent line. So the lipsticks I think are definitely a win, and I love the packaging on these. So really beautiful. The lip gloss I think is also, it's nice, but there are just so many of those on the market. It doesn't really differentiate itself well from other versions, but I think it is nice. So I would pick up all of the lip products again. And again, as I mentioned, I would pick up the palette on sale. We also took a look at Valentino Holiday, which I think is a little lackluster. So we do have this highlighter, shade 600, which is limited edition, and I think it's a nice gold highlighter. And, it's a classic gold highlighter. The formula on the blushes and the highlighters, they're awesome. I love the Valentino formulas. The blush, however, is a repeat. So this is shade 4 in the permanent line, just with the holiday packaging. And I think that is clearly labeled now, but originally it was not identified that way online. So you kind of had to buy the blush and just figure out what shade it was once it arrived. So I believe it is marked everywhere. I've seen it sold now, but it is a repeat shade. So I wish they had done something a little bit more special and unique for the holiday collection. The formulas are fantastic. Honestly, though, the highlighter is a little bit gold for me, so I would pass on that. And the blush, I love the blush. It just depends whether you already have it in the permanent collection or not. So I would pick up the blush again. I wouldn't hesitate to pick up the highlighter again, but I do wish that this shade was a little bit lighter and more champagne for my skin tone. However, if you're looking for a gold highlighter, I think this one is fantastic, and I really like it. So for me personally, I would pass on it solely due to the shade, but the formula is amazing. The Prada Holiday, mixed thoughts on that. I absolutely love it. However, it kind of depends on what you have from the permanent line already. So this is the palette, which I think is stunning. However, a couple of the shades here, all of the shades might be from different palettes from here, but I was able to find, several of these shades, particularly 2 of them in the palette with the green eyeshadow that is permanent. So if you already have some of the permanent palettes, this might not be worth it. However, I think it is an absolutely beautiful palette. I love it. And I love the formulas in the product palettes in general. So this is the actual color story here. Formulas are amazing. These are probably my favorite eyeshadows overall. And this is number 10 Platinum. The actual design and the packaging, you know, I like having it for the eyeshadow palette, and these are refillable, so you can purchase refills from the permanent line. However, on the lipsticks, I think I knocked mine down, but it only has the design like right here. So if you turn the lid, you don't see it anywhere else. So I keep getting it lost in my drawer because it looks like all of the others. And then, you know, it's just on the lid. It's not on any other part of the lipstick. So, and they're permanent shades. So although I do like them, you know, it depends what you already have in your collection. So, you know, honestly, I find the lipsticks, it's not worth purchasing them for the holiday packaging or anything like that. But the eyeshadow palette is, in my opinion. We also have the NARS eyeshadow palette. This is their Pure Luxury Face and Eye palette or Cheek and Eye palette. And this is the lighter version. So I personally like this one. I've been using this a lot, but I'm gravitating to the cooler shades. I don't really use this bronzer shade. It's a little bit too orange. But I like the 3 blushes and this pink highlighter. So I have been using this a lot. I would purchase this one again, particularly if you can get this one on sale. So I think it's a nice palette. I almost forgot about the Hermes liners. So I love the color range. I think it's a great color range. The liners, honestly, they suck. So this is the lip pencil in 21 Rose Épicée. Now they're not going to be a super creamy formula, but they are creamy. They're kind of like creamy mixed with that traditional dryer pencil formula. I really love the colors. This is the eyeliner I purchased in 57, Vert Malachite. This is going to be a drier pencil. The problem is, you know, you would expect a drier pencil to kind of, you know, set and stay put. These don't stay. So, you know, and they just kind of wipe away. So honestly, they're not worth it, but I love the color range. So I bought a whole bunch. I only opened one of each first to see how I like the formulas. I decided to return the rest. And yeah, I'm not going to buy any more of them. I also tried, sorry, I'm just knocking things down while I'm trying to reach for this, but this is the Tarte d'Hermes, the liquid eyeliner. And, you know, same kind of issue. It's not great. So yeah, I would just pass on all the liners from Hermes personally. And then I don't typically buy advent calendars. However, this year I purchased 2. So I picked up the LH Cosmetics calendar, which I think is awesome. I love the way they do it. So you get this big case and then you have 4 bags full of different items. And you can separate things in here. Everything comes boxed, you know, as it would if you were purchasing it individually. So you could, you know, things that you don't want, you can re-gift easily. Or you can also buy the bags individually. So you don't have to buy the whole advent calendar. They're kind of grouped into, you know, different categories of looks essentially. And so you can buy those separately as well. So I just love the versatility of that. And there were a lot of products that I was able to try, and it was on sale when I purchased it, which makes it even better. So I thought this was actually a good deal. And I think out of all of the items in here, I only had one of them. So it was a win for me. And that's why I ended up picking this one up this year. But I just think this is a really great set. And I love the case it comes in as well. This is vegan leather, by the way. Now I'm going to take a look at SUQQU Holiday. And for me, the stars were actually the blushes. So I'm wearing the peach one right now, number 10, Soft Peach. And then this is number 11, Intense Ruby, which is actually my favorite. So this is Intense Ruby. And you can see that it is going to be a soft red. It's neutral with a little bit of coolness to it. I think it's a really pretty red. And it's not too cool, but it's also not warm. So I think it's a really great shade. That is my favorite. Both of those shades are new, but they're also both limited edition. Now, the other palette here, this is Festive Glow. And I like it, but I don't love it. So would I buy it again? I would probably pick this one up on sale, but I don't just personally love it. So it's really a personal preference. I think the colors are fun. The formulas are nice. This is different from the other like face and eye palettes that they came out with in the same shape. The formulas are different. They're a bit creamier. So It's just we've got more like pinky hues in here. I really do like this kind of like olivey green bronzy shade. And I really like this orange. But the two pinker shades, they're okay. They're just nothing special. So for me, I think it's an okay palette. I would probably pick it up again on sale though. The blushes, I would definitely purchase though, even full price. And then we also took a look at Emile Cordon. They sent me a few of their fall lip balms. And my favorite is the Candied Chestnut, which I think is really nice. And they also gave me a discount code for all of you. So I have purchased these in the past. I like the formula. It's a nice, light, moisturizing lip balm. For me, it's best for daytime. It's a daytime lip balm. It's not as reparative as what I like to use overnight. For reference, I like something really thick, like the Revision lip balm overnight. Something, really thick that stays put and really does maximum duty, especially because I do so many lip swatches. I need it. All right, next we have the Chanel Holiday. And, this is a controversial collection overall. Some people love it, some people hate it. I personally really like it, but I wish that this palette were smaller. I wish it would just be a regular quad. For me, it doesn't work as well for an all over face palette. It is very shimmery, but I do like it on the eyes. I think it's fun to play with. The textures are nice. There's some grip there, and I think it's a fun palette. So I would have preferred this as a smaller size. So, should I recommend people buying that? It's hard to say because, again, it's very large. So for the price, it's not worth it. But in a smaller palette, I think it would be. So I think that's really going to be personal preference. I don't regret having it. My favorites, though, were some of the lip products. So I've actually been wearing the Rouge Allure Locks the most. These are the ones that I've been using a ton. This is the shade number 94 Crystal Pink. And then there's also 95 Spell, which is a gorgeous red that I keep reaching for. I've worn that several times. So I really like these. I also like the Rouge Allure L'Extrait, particularly the one that is similar to this pink. So I'd pick up all of the lip products again. I might skip this one. This one here is, I don't even know what number it is. I hate how I have to take this out every time. I need to label them. But this is 937 Rouge Spectral. So this one here is, I think it's nice, but that one's not a must-have for me. However, I do really like this pink one that is similar to the Rouge Allure Lock. So I don't think I need both between the two, and I do prefer the Rouge Allure Lock shade because it's a little bit cooler. But this one here is really pretty as well, and this is going to be Rose Boreal number 917. So I think if I had to pick, though, between lip products, I'd go with both of the Rouge Allure Locks. This is the 95 Spell. And I think this is such a beautiful red all year round. So this one's actually my number one pick. And yeah, I think it's really pretty. As for the highlighter, I think it's a pretty highlighter. It's okay. For me, it's not a must-have. I think it's nice though. And the glitter is an overspray. So after that, we have a little bit more of a duochrome finish. So here's the highlighter. I left the overspray here. This part doesn't have it here. So you can really see what, we'll put it right here, what it looks like. And you can see there's a shift. So I think it's nice. But again, it's so oversized. I would have preferred this to be in smaller packaging because I'm not going to use this up. So I wouldn't recommend it for that. If you want this color, I would actually go with the Gucci in a smaller packaging. And this is the Gucci number one. This is Sunrise Gold. And they're not exactly the same, but they're very, very close. So I would pick the Gucci over the Chanel highlighter personally. We also took a look at the Hourglass Barney's palettes. And this one here is my favorite. This is number 2. And I really like it. Now, these shades, you've got repeats. You've got shades that you have seen in other collections in the past. They're not necessarily all going to be ones that are permanently available. Some are, some aren't. So I think it really depends on what your Hourglass collection is. But I personally love this palette. I'm very happy I bought that one. So I bought 2 and 3. I really like both of them. I'd pick both of them up again, but number 2 is my must-have. I also tried out a Lawless little holiday set for lips, and I personally really like it. Plan on trying more of them. They've got some really great, more like pinky purple tones, which I really love. Some cooler, lighter shades. So I love those. I'm definitely planning on picking up more. And then we have the SUQQU Winter Collection, and depending on where you see it written, it's either the Autumn Winter Part 2 collection or pre-holiday, you know, so it has different names. So this one here is palette 142, which is a great set of neutrals. Let's put this one here. And I love this whole collection personally. I think this is my favorite SUQQU collection for the year. And we have 143, which obviously very different vibe here. These are going to be more blue green kind of shades here. Can't really squeeze that in. I think it's really beautiful. I love the colors that they included in here. I would have liked to see an even cooler lip shade in the collection. However, I do love this one here, which is the Lip Glow in 108. And if you haven't tried their lip glows, there's just a really nice liquid, like vinyl type lipstick. And this is a nice nude rosy pink, but it's neutral leaning. It has a little bit of coolness to it, but it's not cool. So I would have liked to see a shade that's slightly cooler, but I think this is just a great everyday shade, and it's one that I've been reaching for a ton. Next, we have Tom Ford Holiday. And by the way, I'm going to be doing a holiday like ranking or favorites video specifically on holiday collections relatively soon. This is the Black Diamond palette, and I think this is a nice palette. My arm's a little damp here, so these will probably be a little bit, you know, a little bit brighter than they might be. That's about accurate. So this is the Black Diamond. I think it's actually a really nice set of neutral shades. Formulas are okay, but for $100, is it really worth it? For some people, yes, but I think for most people, probably no. I love this topper shade. I think it has a really beautiful shift. However, a lot of people have been asking me about the Sorcery shade from Lisa Eldridge. So this is a Sorcery palette, and this is kind of that duochrome shimmer shade. And this one's better. I mean, look at that. It's like fairy wings. It depends what you're looking for. The Tom Ford's more subtle. But if you look at the Tom Ford Metallic Mauve, the shimmer is like the same. I'll put that one right up here. You can see that those shades are essentially the same shades. So if you already have Metallic Mauve and you're looking at Black Diamond specifically because of that shimmer, it's totally not worth it. And then in addition, these are just kind of, you know, easily found neutral shades. We have a soft matte peach, a soft neutral brown, and then a really deep eggplant purple. So there's shades though that, you know, there's nothing special about those shades. So it really depends what you have. Overall, I like the palette. Would I purchase it again? On sale, yes. Full price, no. We took a look at the Jones Road Bobbi kit, which was in celebration of their 4th anniversary. I think it's a great, like, everyday, low, minimal makeup kind of look. I personally really like it. It's just one of those quick go-to sets. So that was gifted to me, but I would purchase that. They don't really have sales, so just a heads up. Then we took a look at Bobbi Brown Holiday, and this is the Dream Gleam Luxe Eyeshadow Palette. So would I purchase this again? Yes. However, this is not what I was expecting it to be. The formulas are different than the typical Luxe formula. You can see that it's actually more of a cross between like a Danessa Myricks Chrome Flake kind of formula and a creamy shadow in general. So you can see it's kind of like larger flakes there. The mattes are fine, but we do also have a little bit of similarities in the shades there. So I would pick it up again, you know, but I can't say that, you know, just off of sight, you should go off and buy this because, again, it depends what you're looking for. This will give you a really, you can sheer it out a bit, but it's a chunkier look and some more, you know, more opaque metallic look to it. So it depends what you're looking for. It's not your traditional Luxe shadows from Bobbi Brown. However, I still like it, so I'd buy it again. We also took a look at a few powders this month. We have the Tarte Creaseless Setting Powder and the Anna Sui Powder. I actually like both of these. I am still finishing up that powder video. It takes a really long time to do those. So that is coming sometime this month. So working on that. So I think overall, those are both nice. I like them a lot. The Anna Sui is going to be a moisture powder. So you've got kind of that wet feeling that kind of sets on your face. So it kind of depends what you're looking for, but I think they're both really nice products. I would buy both of those again. And then we have 3 new Hermes lipstick shades, and these are all like kind of warm nude shades. So this is like the softest, lightest peachy shade here. This is going to be 17 Beige et Bluey, and these are all satins. So this shade has actually been out before. I forget what year it came out, but it was in one of the limited edition shades in the past. This one is Beige Sienna, number 86. And these are now all in the permanent line. So I think the other 2 are totally brand new. I haven't seen them anywhere. This one here is my favorite. I like all of them, but they do run a bit warm. And I was hoping for maybe some cooler tone shades as well. But, you know, perhaps in the future. Overall, I think they're a nice set of warm neutral shades. Great for fall. Then we took a look at the Hermes highlighter. Now, I have to say, I'm a little disappointed because online it looks like a beautiful soft pink kind of shade. But in reality, you can see it's much warmer and it's more of a copper rose. And I still like it. The formula is nice. I think it's a really beautiful formula. It's deeper than I would have liked. So, you know, for my coloring, it's okay. For somebody with like medium coloring, I think it's amazing. Deep coloring, amazing. But for lighter and fair skin tones, it's only okay because it is going to be a little bit deep. So I'm happy I have it. You can use this on the eyes as well. You get a really nice rose gold look with that. So I would purchase it again. However, you know, if you're interested in it, definitely think about whether it works for your skin tone. And then we also took a look at the Byredo palette. This is their holiday palette. And it's an okay palette. You know, I like the general color story. I like the idea of the palette a lot. But a lot of the shades, they look kind of the same on the eyes. So I just don't think it was executed as well as it could have been. So although I love the color story, it's a like, not a love. So would I buy this again? You know, I probably would because I absolutely love these olivey green tones. And so I love the actual tones in here. But for most people, I think a lot of the shades just look too similar on the eyes. So I think a lot of people wouldn't be happy with that. For me personally, I would still buy this again just because it's one of my favorite eyeshadow shades. So I don't mind so much that they kind of look similar because, you know, I'll probably use them anyway. And yeah, so I think that's it for the Byredo palette. We also took a look at the Celine lipstick. The Celine lipstick, I think, really nice packaging, very luxe. This shade here, so far there's only one shade, Rouge Triomphe, which is number 1. And it swatches more like a blue base red on my hand, but it looks a lot warmer on my lips. I think it's a nice formula. The formula itself is very nice. It does have a fragrance. I don't particularly love the fragrance. It doesn't, you know, it's not something I hate or anything either. But I would have preferred to have a little bit less fragrance or no fragrance personally. This color itself, I think, is nice, but I'm excited more to see the other shades that they come out with in the line because they're going to have a pretty extensive range. And so, yeah, I do like the lipstick. I would pick it up again, but honestly, I'd probably, for me personally, I'm looking more at some of the shades I'd use every day for something at this price point. I want to make sure that if I don't use it up, I get at least close to it. Then we have the Makeup by Mario Ethereal Eyes Moonlight Palette, which is the cooler tone version of the classic Ethereal Eyes. I think the formulas in here are average. They perform well. I don't really have any issues. There's nothing really luxe about them. But I do really like the color story. I think it's a nice set of neutrals. We have plastic packaging instead of the metal of the original palette. But, you know, I would pick this up again, especially if you can get it during the Sephora sale. Yeah, overall, I like this palette. So yeah, you know, the shades are in other palettes. You probably have these shades somewhere in your collection, but it is a nice palette full of different colors. We've got a few different finishes in there. There can be some fallout. So yeah, overall, it's a nice palette. So I'd still buy it again. And then I also took a look at the YSL inks. These are their new like vinyl liquid lipstick. And this one here is shade 611. I love these. These are fantastic. They are similar to the Chanel Rouge Allure Locks, but they do have a slightly different texture to them. They have, they're very comfortable. They maintain kind of that like vinyl, a little bit of slip on there with some grip still throughout the day. I really like these, and they've got some nice shades. It's a small shade range right now, but I'm really happy to see some cooler tone lighter shades in there as well as deeper shades. I think it's a nice range to start off with, and I do hope that they add on to these. I love them. Then we took a look at the Myricks holiday sets. We look at the blush set, which I would buy again. I like it. It is going to be light though, so it's not going to work for all skin tones. But they were all shades that were new to me. So 2 new shades, 1 limited edition shade, but all 3 of them were new to me. But what I really loved would be the lipstick set. So we have 3 new colors. One of them actually has a new finish, which is this one here. This is the lip blush. And this is shade Du Jour. And yeah, I have to say, I really like it. I think it's a great set. I would definitely purchase this again. And yeah, I feel like you can't really go wrong with that set. We also took a look at the new shades of the Armani eye tints, which I personally really like those. I think this newest version of the Armani eye tint formula is a good one. Still not as good as the original, but we're definitely better off than we were with the previous iteration, in my opinion. It performs pretty well. It lasts basically all day. I might get some mild creasing at the end of a very long day, like at the end of 12 hours, but your standard 8 to 10 hour day is definitely going to last that full time. Then we took a look at SUQQU Holiday, and they did send me everything that I featured so far on my channel, but when they released the Through the Glass collection, I picked up the other items. So those are coming soon, but I love the holiday collection. I think everything they sent was really nice. We've got some great eyeshadow quads here. These are limited edition. I love the whole concept behind their holiday collection. I would definitely pick up all of these again myself, but they did gift these to me in PR. This one here is probably my favorite palette. This is number 102 Antique Glass, and it is limited edition. And you can see we have limited edition shades, limited edition packaging, and I just love kind of these smoky antique colors. It goes really well with the other palette as well. We've got some great lip products. So overall, I think it's a fantastic collection. The formulas are silky, they're smooth, they're so great to use. And, I think they're very fairly priced. So Addiction Tokyo is a total win for me. And then it's a little bit too big to pick up right now, but the Liberty Advent Calendar is the second Advent Calendar that I bought this year. I've never purchased it before, but it's always been my wish list to buy that one. And this year, there was really only one item that I already had and tons of things I wanted to try. This calendar, I think, is a total win because, there's no like tiny sample sizes. At worst, you're getting like a half size version. You've got quite a few full sizes. You're totally making your money back on this calendar. So it's definitely worth the value. If there are things in there you don't like, you could easily like regift those to somebody else. I think it's such a beautiful calendar. The calendar packaging itself is great. I'm going to keep it and reuse it. Somebody mentioned that some people even sell them. So, I feel like you just can't go wrong with this calendar. I'm so happy I bought it this year. It's not something I'll be buying every year because obviously, with everything that I buy for the channel, I will probably end up with some duplicates or not necessarily needing to try certain things. But this year it worked out where there were quite a few things that I wanted to try that were on my list. And, honestly, it's a great deal. So I'm very happy I bought that. I'd buy it again. So after that, we started preparing for the Sephora sale with some Sephora recommendations. And whether you shop the Sephora sale or not, definitely take a look at the recommendation list. I made a full guide with like details on the different products and why I like them or don't like them and so forth. So it's pretty detailed. And so I think it might be helpful if you're shopping for any of those items in particular, regardless of the retailer. So I hope that was helpful. I'd love to know what your favorites were this month. Let's take a look at my top 5. All right, so the top 5 is always a challenge to do. Just a heads up, I did exclude the advent calendars from the top 5. So I think they are fantastic, but they have so many products in there. I wanted to kind of limit this to individual products. So not in any particular order. My top 5 would be the Prada palette, which is this one here. So even though I have the palette with the green, which I want to say is number 2, you know, I love those, and I think this is a great color story. Very happy to have this. So the Prada eyeshadow palette for holiday is one of them, as well as the Rouge Allure Lock in 95 Spell from Chanel. This is that classic red I mentioned, and I love it. It's a nice deep red. It's neutral. You've got a little bit of a cooler hue to it, but it's pretty neutral there, and it's just a beautiful deep blood red. I love that. I also included the YSL inks, and that's this here. And these are just so comfortable. They've got a great shade range. I've been using these on a regular basis. And then the Addiction Tokyo palette in Antique Glass, that made it to my favorites, as well as the Hourglass and Barney edit in number 2. So I particularly love the blushes in here. So just these 2 here in the middle, put those there. Let's just swatch the whole palette here. It's kind of out of order, but you can kind of get an idea then of the color story in here. And I just think it's a really nice palette for fair and light skin in particular. And it works really well for me. So it's just one of those like great things I don't really have to think about if I'm rushing around. So I think it's a really nice palette. Those are my top 5 for the month. I hope this has been helpful. I'd love to know your thoughts on all the products featured here and what you've been loving or perhaps hating this month. So please share down below in the comments. Thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you have a wonderful day. I'll see you very soon.